Okay, lesson 37, we have a new pranayama described in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika chapter 2, Sutra 54. Then Sitkari is described. Make a hissing sound with the mouth while drawing energy in and release only through the nostril. By the yoga consisting of repeated practice of this, one becomes a second god of beauty. As this is not a breathing exercise, you're not doing literally what this sutra instructs us to do, hissing with the mouth while drawing energy in, or breath in, which is what people do. The hissing sound is nada. And the explicit instruction to make a hissing sound while drawing energy in tells us that it's not just Shiva energy flowing in, but accelerated Shiva flowing in. And you do that by intently thinking of large amounts of Shiva flowing in. You use mind power, willpower, to make more than usual amounts of Shiva to flow in. Then we release after the kumbhaka only through the nostril. You let Shiva out, not accelerated, but just the normal pace. What happens as a result of this, in contrast with the previous two exercises where the result is Shakti domination, you end up here with more Shiva. Now, when people start to understand a little bit about Shiva and Shakti, about Tamas and Rajas, people then start to think that Shiva is bad and Shakti is good. It's not true. They're both equally good and they're both equally important. Shiva is important for what? For rest and recovery. We cannot be active 24 hours a day. We will wear ourselves out, literally burn ourselves up with rajas, Shakti domination. Shiva is responsible for recovery of the cells, of the energy, of everything. So Shiva is very important. That is why this sutra ends by saying, by the yoga consisting of repeated practice of this, one becomes a second god of beauty, a kama deva. A kama is desire, deva is god. You become a god of desire, a desired god. What happens if you have? We live in a world where people generally are either Shakti or they are lethargic. But if you are able to relatively balance life between activity and rest and recovery, you simply look better, you look healthier. And that, of course, in the eyes of other people, is more attractive. And that is what this means. You don't become a god, you don't become exceptionally beautiful, but there is beauty in health. People that look good because they're healthy. That's because they have a pretty good balance. Often not necessarily by intent, but just because their life is balanced like that, we look good as a result. So that is what this means. Symbolically, you become a second god of beauty, or yeah, that's exactly what he said. So fast Shiva inflow, kumbhaka, normal Shiva outflow, kumbhaka. The count is the same, 20, 80, 40, 80. Sutra 55. He or she becomes an object of high regard among the circles of yoginis and yogis. You're able to create and destroy. Neither hunger nor thirst, somnolence nor indolence arise in you. Now, that last part does not only apply to this exercise. If you practice yoga regularly, preferably on a daily basis, and you do it correctly, you will find that you are much more stable throughout the day in your energy levels. While in our old condition, we have a tendency to peak and then have our down periods. Most people, especially in the afternoon, become very sleepy, need a cup of coffee or a nap. You don't have that anymore. You don't have that crash anymore if you practice yoga regularly. You become much more even and equal in your energy levels throughout the day. That is what that last sentence indicates. And that is, of course, with this particular pranayama, because you possess more Shiva energy, which deals with the fatigue of your activities that you started since you woke up in the morning. While other people then reach a peak and crash, you remain much more even. You are also able to create and destroy. Now people then start to think, you have in mythology, you have these images of monsters that spew fire and destroy mountains and what have you. That is all symbolism. Being able to create and destroy is not as dramatic as it sounds. But it is also not just an empty phrase or something. Because what it really means is that you're able to control Shiva and Shakti energy, which are responsible for creation and destruction. Not in such a dramatic way, but Shakti energy is responsible for movement, Shakti energy, when there is too much of it, it leads to exhaustion. It leads to deterioration of the condition. That is destruction. Creation, that is what Shiva energy does. Women who have experienced pregnancy, they describe a period throughout that pregnancy where they feel very different from normal. They start to shine also. That is because of the huge amounts of Shiva energy that they are taking in for the building of life. They are creating life in their belly, which means that the cells are multiplying. Cells are multiplying at a very high rate, which draws all that energy in. That is why pregnant women have that experience of shining. They truly shine. Shiva energy. Creation is going on not at a normal pace, but at a very rapid pace. Creation and destruction, Shiva and Shakti. You're able to control energy. That is what it means. And you become an object of high regard among, it says, the circles of yoginis in the text, among people. People feel your energy, people feel your vibration, they feel your calm. And that is attractive, as opposed to people who are restless and exhausted and scattered. That is simply what this means. Last one, 56. Strength of body is gained by this practice, and the Lord of Yogins becomes surely free of afflictions of every kind on this earthly sphere. Strength of body is gained when we are well rested. People who become weak because there is no balance. You wear yourself out if you don't have enough rest. often in combination with poor habits, but they often go together. If you rest sufficiently, people who do professional sports people, one of the most important aspects of their training is actually resting and stimulating rest, for example, by taking ice baths that speed up the recovery. But the recovery is as important, or maybe even more important, as the exercise. Because if you only exercise, you wear down your body, you become actually weak, you damage your body. So, makes perfect sense. You allow more Shiva in your life, you become healthier, stronger as a result. Good. Questions? So what we have now is we haven't done asana yet. All right. All right. Then we're going to do that first. I already felt something was off.